Okay, here we have Anna. Now, Anna's been riding before. She's done some pony club when she was younger, but that's been about 15 years. So Anna's come today to practice getting back on a horse and just refining her skills that she learnt when she was younger. So we're going to teach Anna how to maintain a correct seat in a walk and a trot, apply aids, and we'll just have a look at her seat and see how we go, whether there's any corrections that need to be made there. Now, Anna, first up, we're going to just do some exercises just to warm up. Now, as you can see, I've got him on the lunge so that you don't have to worry about controlling him. I've got control of him. So all you have to worry about is just getting your seat and practicing your position. Now, first up, we're just going to work a bit on your balance. So are you confident in sticking one of your arms out to the side? That's it. Can you do some circles for me? Just a bit of a warm-up, just to stretch, and this helps you get your balance in the seat as well. Now, with that arm, are you able to touch your knee for me? Just lean down, touch your knee. That's it? Okay. Now, with your other arm, if you just want to hold your arms again, can you do the same with your other arm? That's it. Okay, now would you like to touch your knee for me? That's it. Okay. Now, can you stand up in your stirrups? What we're going to do is just give you a bit of a warm-up on your legs, that's right. And this will just help you get ready for the way we need to move when we're trotting. Okay, so now first off, what we're going to do is I'm going to lead you around at a walk, just so that you can get used to the feel of the horse again. So just as the horse walks, just relax yourself into the seat and just rock with the saddle. Just feel yourself sink into the saddle. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up my lunge whip here. Okay. So I'm just going to walk him around a bit, just on a short lead. If there's at any time you feel uncomfortable, please let me know. And if you've got any questions, by all means, ask. Okay, you ready? Okay. Come on, mate. How's that feel?
Yeah,
pretty good. Pretty good? You comfortable with that? Good to be back on a horse?
Yeah, very good. He's a lot taller than the ones I was on.
I imagine he would be. It's okay. Alright, so once we get going and we're on the lead, on the long lunge, I'll just make a few corrections to your seat and just give you a few pointers as to how we can sit up a little bit straighter. Okay? Okay, now what we're going to do here is I'm just going to lead you around these cones and just weave around just so that you can feel how he can move side to side, because I want you to be confident with how he moves. I don't want you to be worried if he moves a little bit sideways or anything. And once we get further into the lesson, I'll give you some pointers as to how to steer him around the cones and guide him yourself. Okay, how's that? Do you feel confident in going out on the long lunge now?
Yeah.
Okay, so now what we're going to do, just having a look at your seat there, what we're going to do is just going to bring your leg forward here. We're just going to have just the ball of your foot in the stirrup. That's the way. And so your toes are pointing forward. Wait, mate. We're going to have a heel down. Okay, now we need to make sure when we're sitting on a horse so that we can stay balanced, that our shoulders, our hips, and our heels are in one straight line. So if you're going to straighten your back for me, just a little bit forward. That's the way. So you've got your shoulder, your hip, and your heel. There's an imaginary line there. And so when you sit like that, that's your imaginary line. Okay, just having a look at your other side there. Okay, we'll just fix up. Just take your toe out just a little bit. That's the way. That's good. Okay. Now what we're going to do is I'm also going to teach you how to apply some aids to get him to walk off. So when we're ready to walk off, we're not going to worry too much about your reins at the moment, but we're going to just practice your aids, because as I said, I've got control of him. But when you're ready to walk off, what we do is we lean forward a little bit in the seat and just squeeze gently with both your legs just here, your calves. and that'll give him the indication that you want to move off. You can also use voice aids, so you go if you want. He does respond to that. Yep, or even if you just rock your weight forward. Yep, just rock your weight forward, give your legs a little bit of a squeeze and he'll walk off. Do you want to practice that just on a short lead there? That's the way. Okay, now just before we go out on the long lead, I'll teach you how to get him to stop. Okay, so when you want him to stop, just put your weight back in the seat. That's the way. When you do pull your reins back though, just keep your arms down. That's right. It's better to have shorter reins and longer arms. Now I'm just going to turn him around here so that I'm not near his bottom. Okay, so when you do want him to stop, just lean back a little bit in your seat. Just put the weight on the back of your seat bones. Push your legs forward a little bit. Yep, not quite that far back, but that'll give him the indication that you want him to stop. And you can put a little bit of pressure on his mouth. He doesn't need a lot to stop this horse, but we need to make sure that we keep our hands down near his neck. So if we have him up here, we might lose our balance and go backwards. Okay, are you ready to go out on the long lunge? Yep, that's fine. Okay, so we're just going to walk around just to get the feel of him, and we'll just talk about your seat just as we go out. So I just organise my lunge lead here. Okay, you ready? Okay, now as I said, if you're worried at all, just let me know and we can stop. But I do have control of him. He can't go anywhere. Okay, you ready? Okay. That's the way. Good job. That was a good aid to get him to walk forward. You leaned forward a little bit and gave him a bit of a click. Bit of a squeeze. Yep. So now we sit back up straight. That's the way. That's good. Now with your hands, if we just keep them together just near his neck, that's the way. That's good. Very good. You're a quick learner. I don't think there's too much I'm going to be able to teach you. You've got a very good seat. Oh, I think it's a bit like riding a bike. And it eventually all comes back. Okay, how's that feel? Yep. Do you feel secure and balanced? You don't feel like you're going to overbalance sideways or forward? If he tripped and went down in his front, you'd quite possibly go over his shoulder, so you could lose your balance and come off. So this is why we're practicing slowly at a lunge, just how to get our seat to avoid any chance of accidents. Okay, now would you like to practice applying your stop aid? So just put your weight on your seat bones, your feet forward, weight in your stirrups. That's it, well done. Good job. Yep, give them a bit of a pat. Reassurance is always good, they love it. Okay, would you like to practice walking off for me? Lean forward just a little bit, loosen your reins off, bit of a squeeze, that's it. Okay, so now once we get a bit of practice, we'll eventually won't lean forward quite as much. It'll be just a very subtle shift of your weight in the seat, so it won't be such an obvious leaning forward. Come on, mate. It's just the way that you shift your weight. So if you practice moving your bottom in the saddle, so if you just tilt your pelvis forward and just more see when you lean back, you put the weight on the back half of your bottom on your seat bones, whereas if you shift forward, you shift the weight onto the front of your pelvis, so he can just feel where that weight is distributed under the saddle, and that's just an indication to him of what you'd like him to do. And these are very good things to learn too, because say for example if a horse took off, you wouldn't want to lean forward and try and pull him back because you'd be balanced the wrong way. So if you wanted him to stop and he was taking off, you'd need to have that weight back. And it's harder for them to have that forward momentum if your weight is further back. for example, with the racehorses, when they're racing, you can see the jockeys are right up over their shoulders. That's because they want to go over the centre of gravity, which is straight down from their withers down their front. So that helps them get that forward momentum. Whereas if you're sitting back, you're putting pressure backwards and taking your weight off that centre of gravity. So therefore it indicates to them that you don't want them to go forward. And it makes it just a bit harder for them to go forward if you're not over that centre of gravity. Okay, did you want to click him forward again? That's the way. That's it. Well done. Going great. Come on, mate. Okay, so what we're going to do with our hands, we're not going to worry too much about the length of rein at the moment, but with our hands, what we do is when he walks, just feel the way he rocks, and just rock your pelvis with him, and with your arms. It's just a subtle, see how his head bobs up and down? So if you just subtly rock with him, and just give him a little bit of give and take, just as his head bobs up and down. This is just so that we can maintain contact with his mouth, but we're not causing any problems. Because if we have a really short rein, but we're wanting him to walk forward, that will confuse him. And while he's relaxed like this, we don't need to have a lot of backwards contact. You're sitting great. Well done. Okay, would you like to try and go the other way? Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just pull him towards me, and I'll just pull my whip out, and he knows that this is the aid to turn. Yep, if you'd like to try and just steer him around, that'll be fine. That's the way. Okay, so we'll just go this way now, just so that you can feel the difference in how he feels going both directions. Now, horses are two-sided. So we need to know that they can work their muscles on both sides of their body. Now in a minute we're going to start to practice a bit of a trot. Now with a trot, a horse uses their legs in diagonal pairs. So you have your front left leg and your back right leg, they work together. And your front right and your back left work together. Okay, so when you're comfortable with this, we might just go for a bit of a trot and we'll just see how we go. So when we do trot, what we do is we look at their shoulder. So if you can look down at his shoulder now, say his right shoulder, see when his right shoulder comes forward. When his right shoulder comes forward, you need to rise up out of the saddle. And when that right shoulder comes back, you need to sit. The horses, when they're trotting, they have a 2-beat pace. So you rise for 2 beats and you sit for 2 beats, and this way you stay on one diagonal and you're not bouncing on his back. It's a bit of an act to get the timing, but we'll see how we go. Okay, so just while you're walking around there, just keep an eye on his shoulder, and even if you wanted to start practicing rising as that front right goes forward, as I said, I've got control of him. So if you want to concentrate on that leg and just practice rising up and down, that's it. That's all right, it takes practice. Now what we'll do in a minute is get him to trot for a couple of steps just so you can feel what it's like, so that we're not doing it consistently and throwing you off. Okay, are you ready for him to start trotting? So if you just keep an eye on that shoulder and just try and rise, and what I'll do is I'll say up or down, and then we'll see how we go for your timing. Okay, you ready? Good luck. I'm sure you don't need it. Hang on, he's doing a poo. Now when we do want to transition from a walk into a trot, it's very much like when we go from a halt into a walk. We need to shift our weight forward in the saddle, loosen your reins a little bit and give him a squeeze with the bottom of your legs Yep, just keep your hands in, just down on his neck, just a subtle shift of your weight forward. Give him a bit of a click. Okay. Okay, how's that feel? That's all right. We've got plenty of time. We can practice the timing. Okay, what I'm going to do now, just to help you with the timing, is when I'll say up, up, up. Okay, you ready? So give him a little bit of a click forward. Use those aids to get him to move forward. Okay. Up, 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 up. How's that feel? You're starting to get it. Well, what we'll do is we'll worry about getting your rhythm first, and once you've got your rhythm, then we'll worry about refining your seat. As I said, I've got control of him, so you can concentrate on getting that rhythm. How'd that feel? Yep. Yep. No, that was much better. Okay, you ready to go again? Do you want me to say up or down, or do you want to give it a try yourself? Yep, no worries. Okay, give him those A's, a little bit of a squeeze, shift your weight forward. That's the way. Good job, you even got the right diagonal. Well done. Yep, no, that's how we do it. And generally the rule is when we're trotting, we use the outside diagonal. So that means the front leg, which is on the outside, so the one that's closest to the outside of the round yard or the arena, that's the diagonal that you rise on. So if we were going to around the other way, we'd use the left leg as our guide. Okay, you want to have another go? And we'll see if we can have a go at fixing your seat a little bit. Give them a bit of a squeeze, that's the way. Okay, so once you've got your rhythm, I'll just talk you through a few things. Okay, that's all right. Now you can loosen your reins off a little bit. Okay, that's good. Sitting up nice and straight. Now what we want to try and do, you just keep your hands down near his withers. Oh, you don't have to touch it, but what we try and do is we just try and keep our reins steady, just so that they're not giving him false cues on his mouth. Yep. So, but you're doing well. If you'd like to try and sit up just a little bit straighter, so we'll lean back just a little bit more, just to try and get that line from your shoulder through your hip to your heel that we talked about. Going really well. Okay, so just what we'll do is we'll open your chest, keep your shoulders back. Good, good. Okay, now that you've got your rhythm, we'll see if we can keep it going. And so we want, once you've got that rhythm, like you have now, you're doing really well. Good, so now we don't have to worry about looking at his shoulder once you're comfortable with that rhythm. So we look where we're going, we keep our chest open, our head up. And just keep an eye on the direction that you're going. And this helps keep you balanced as well, because if you're looking to the left, for example, that might shift your weight over to the left, so that might throw your balance off. Okay, so that's why we need to keep looking in the direction that we're going. Good. Chin up, chest open. Well done. Going really well, Anna. All the memories coming back? Okay. No, he is a very good horse. That's why we're using him for teaching. I think he's getting rid of that grass. When you go from a trot into a walk, what you do is you stop rising and you just sit in the saddle, and we'll do what we call a sitting trot. Do you remember doing a sitting trot when you were younger? That's all right. So when you're ready to go from a trot back into a walk, what we do is we just, once again, just put our weight backwards and we just sit. And this is the cue to him. As I said, you shift your weight, and that gives him the cue that, oh, hang on, her weight's shifted. This is what she wants me to do. Okay, and this is also another way of avoiding pulling on his mouth as well. Okay, would you like to try the other leg? Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just turn him around. If you'd like to guide him with your reins a little bit. That's the way. Give him a little bit of a click. Okay. Alrighty, so now when we go around this way, what we're doing is we'll be looking at his left shoulder. So when that leg is forward, that's when you rise. So it's the opposite diagonal to what you were on a moment ago. Okay, so whenever you're ready, just give him the aids to move forward. Just that little bit of a squeeze, bit of a click. That's the way. A bit more of a squeeze. He's being a little bit lazy today. Come on, mate. Well done, you got it straight up. And that's a really good trick too, what you did there from sitting for a few beats while you're looking at the shoulder. That helps you get the rhythm straight off rather than having to worry about changing diagonals. We will talk about that a little bit later, but that's a really good trick. If you sit and then watch your shoulder for a minute. Come on, mate, isn't that squeeze? Get up, mate. Good job. Okay, so once you're comfortable with that, I think he needs to go to the toilet. Or he's just being lazy. Come on. Anyway, give him that bit of a squeeze. At least you're getting lots of practice giving him those cues to go forward. Get up. Okay, so if you're on the wrong lead, what you do is you sit for 2 beats. And then that'll, get up. Then that'll help you switch back over. Okay, so when you're comfortable with that, we'll just open our chest again. Yeah, I think he needs to go to the toilet, but he's being a little bit stubborn today. Being a bit lazy. That's the way. So when you're comfortable with that rhythm, we'll once again open our shoulders, chin up, watch where you're going. Oh, at least he's giving you good practice at stopping and starting. Well done. There you go, you changed diagonals and I don't even know whether you realise you did it. No, he doesn't need to go to the toilet. All right, he's not going to go. Okay, he's just being lazy. So if you're feeling stopping, when you come around that corner, if you feel that he's going to stop again, just give him another little bit of a squeeze with your legs, and that'll indicate to him that you want him to keep going. That's the way. Not too quick, otherwise you might break into a canter. And we want to master the trot first. That's good. Okay, just try and keep your hands steady. That's good. Well done. Come on, mate. Oh, hang on, he is going to the toilet now. It's just taking a little while to work it out, I think. Good boy. You're going really well. Okay, he's finished. Whenever you're ready, move him up. Give him those aids, a bit of a squeeze. How does that feel? Alrighty, just straighten those shoulders a little bit for me. Just remember that imaginary line. Good job. Okay, you're going really well. Yeah, you could put them down just a little bit. We make sure we keep all of our weight on our heels, because if we point our toes, our feet might slip into the stirrups, and if we do fall off, there's a chance that we might get our feet stuck in the stirrups and you'll get dragged. So that's why we only put the ball of our feet in, and we keep our weight on our heels. And that's also why we always make sure we wear riding boots that have a heel on them, so that we don't let our feet go too far into the stirrup and get stuck. Okay. How does that feel? No, that's fine. It's a good trick to do. Okay, now what we'll do is, now that we've got that that rhythm down pat, what we might do is I might just give you over the control of the horse. I'll still have him on the lunge lead, but what we might do is you can practice steering him. Now I do have some cones here, so if you can just walk around this way. Now when you're steering him to the right, you just need to loosen your left rein a little bit and just pull your right rein towards you. And what we'll do is we'll try and steer him in and out of these cones. That's the way. Good job. Okay, so once we get a bit of practice, these will become a bit more subtle. And okay, we can also use leg aids while we're doing this as well. So if we're going to the right, what we need to do is our left heel goes back behind the girth and just puts a little bit of pressure just behind the girth. Yep, like that. Or even, yep, just like that. No, you're not pushing your toe down, you're just bringing your heel back. And so if you're going to the right, what you need to do is this leg acts like a power pole that they turn around so that we encourage them to bend. So what you need to do is just keep this leg, just squeeze a little bit and keep pressure on his girth line. And as you're turning, that'll encourage him to bend around. You're using this leg as a support so that you can guide him, and the leg on the other side is a blocking one. It's stopping him from moving his hind end away, and that encourages him to bend his neck and get that lateral flexion. And lateral flexion is when they use their neck and their shoulders and all the muscles and they bend around rather than shifting around like this. Okay, did you want to give that a try? Yep. That's it, give him a bit of a squeeze. Now he is good with his aids, so he should understand what you're asking him to do. Yep, so keep your right leg on his girth. That's the way. And yep, that's right. So when you go the other direction, you need to swap your legs as well. So when you're going to the left, you need to move your right heel back a little bit behind his girth and keep your left heel on his girth. So we're just swapping and changing. So we're going like this, then we're going like this. So we're not so much shifting our weight in the saddle, we're just subtly shifting the position of our legs and the position of our hands. Like when you watch dressage, for example, you don't see them moving their hands, they work off their legs, and this is what encourages the horses to bend, and that's why they look so fantastic. It's because they're using all of their muscles. Okay, so do you want to have another go? So once we've done this at a walk, we'll practice turning a little bit in a trot. Well done. Okay, now the more pressure you use on your reins and the more pressure you use on your legs, he will actually shift around. So they just need to be really subtle. They need to be there and stable, but if you really dig your heel in, he will move away from that. Okay? Okay, so what we might do now is I'm going to, you right there for a sec? Okay, I'm just going to remove some of these cones and just spread them out, and then we'll see if we can get him to do it in a trot. Okay, and once we've got a bit more confident with it, we'll go out into the arena and have a bit more space. Okay, so I'll just stick these over the fence here so they're out of the way. Okay, so now we're going to go, which direction do you prefer? Do you have a preference? Okay, so whatever direction we start off, say if we're going around this side, so we're on his his left leg. When you come around to the cone, just see if you can guide him around, like do a turn there, and then we'll come across the round yard, and we'll just do this really slowly, and then what we'll do is we'll change direction again. Now don't worry about your diagonals. What we're practicing now is using our aids and turning. So it doesn't matter what diagonal you're on, we'll learn how to do that a little bit later. But so we'll start off going around this way. And so do a lap or two first, get your rhythm. And then when you're confident, let me know. And we'll practice guiding him and using our aids in a trot. Come on, mate. Boy. So remember, if you're going to come around that cone, we won't go around it yet, we'll do another lap, just while we talk. So if you're going to come around that cone, what you need to do is you need to keep your right leg on his girth, you need to shift your left heel back, and just put a bit of pressure, just pull your right rein just back towards you, just subtly, yep, if you want to. Okay, we've done that good at a walk, and he's stopped. But that's fine. So what we'll do is we'll go around again, and what we'll do is we'll just see if we can get him to keep trotting. So if you feel like he's going to stop, as I said, just give him a little bit of an even squeeze with both legs. Come on, mate. Just do a lap, get your rhythm first, and then we'll try again. As I said, it doesn't have to be a sharp turn, even if you don't go around the cone, but you just cut that corner off and work over towards the other side of the round yard. That way we can just practice turning. Yep, you can start now. That's the way. Whoop. Good job, you stopped him. He knew what had happened. Okay, so when you get around here, keep your right leg on his girth, shift your left heel back a little bit. That's the way. Good. No, you're all right. Okay. Now what I might get you to do, so that I can get him to turn around, can you put a bit of pressure on your right rein, shift your right heel behind, and he should turn around. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what we do this time, when we're going to turn, we'll keep turning around to the one direction. Yeah. So I might just shift this over here so you've got a bit more room. So we'll keep going the one direction so that we don't... Just go around. As I said, basically we're just cutting off part of the round yard and we're just practicing that turn. We don't have to perfect it at the moment. We don't have to weave. We'll just work on going in one direction at a time. And then once we get a bit more practice, and a bit more confidence, we'll worry about the turns then. Okay, whenever you're ready. Come on. Good. Shoulders back. Okay, so when you approach the cone, shift those legs. That's the way. Good, good. Well done. How does that feel? Okay, give it another go after. We'll do another lap. Or maybe you'd like to turn around this cone and go the other way. Cut the other corner off. Good. Good. Okay. You're going really well. Just with your right leg, when you do come around those corners, just try and keep it a bit more parallel with his girth, because it is slipping back just a little bit. Yeah, just keep it on the girth, yeah. So if you keep this leg straight up and down, that'll stay in line with his girth, and we just keep that pressure there. We don't have to kick, we just have to keep that pressure there. Okay? Whenever you're ready, get him to move off in a trot, and we'll do a lap first for you to get your rhythm. Come on. Good. Well done. So whenever you're ready, you go around one of the cones, just keeping that right leg on his girth, remember. Good, that was good. Much better. Okay, and when we turn around doing the other direction, I'll be able to see. So he's doing that because you've got a bit of pressure on your left rein. So if you release that left rein a little bit, he'll keep going around this way rather than trying to go that way. Okay? Do you want to give it one more go and then we'll try the other direction? Okay? Do a lap and get your rhythm. That's it, good. Just remember that right leg on his girth. Good, good. That's much better, well done. What we might do is, would you like to turn him around the other way? So what I'll get to do is come around this way, and I'll just put the whip up, and he knows that that's a signal to change direction. Oh, I've done a little bit of horsemanship with him, and he does take a lot of cues off the whip. It's a very handy skill, actually, especially for a horse who's used to teach people to ride. Okay, so whenever you're ready, just move into that trot. Now remember, this time it's your left leg that you need to keep on his girth, and it's your right leg that you need to move back. And so we'll use our left rein with a bit of pressure to go inwards to turn, and we'll release our right rein a little bit. That's fine. I'd like you to be comfortable in the rhythm before you attempt anything, because otherwise it's a bit hard to concentrate. Going really well. Whenever you're ready, it's up to you. Good. Just come around to the left again, around that cone. Good. So when you are turning him, just try and keep your hand, instead of bringing it out to the side here, just try and keep it up to his, yep, that's right. And so this is why we need to keep our arms longer and have our reins shorter, and that way you can just bend in the elbow a little bit, and then that gives him the cue that you need to turn without you having to put your elbows back. Oh, that's a little bit short. Just let him off a little bit. Yep, that's it. And because you're using those leg aids, that'll give him an indication that you want to turn without putting too much pressure on his mouth. Okay, so whenever you're ready, we'll go again. Yeah, he does do a little bit of side step. He does do some pretty neat tricks. But he's very responsive, which makes it good for people to learn. Good boy. So whenever you're comfortable, we'll try that left turn again. Good. Keep him that squeeze, get him going. Good. Very good. Getting the hang of it. Okay. Now we'll just do another couple of turns and then we'll give him a bit of a cool down, and I think that might conclude today's lesson. Okay, just remember shoulders back. So even when we are turning, we don't want to lean forward and lose our balance. So we keep our upright seat and use our legs to turn and our arms. That's it. Well done. Okay, how does that feel? Oh, what we'll do is we might just walk him around for a few moments and you can practice weaving him if you like, just to give him a bit of a cool down. It also cools you down as well. It's important that we cool our muscles down because it gets rid of any built-up lactic acid. Because if you all of a sudden you do lots of work and then you stop, then the lactic acid builds up, whereas just walking nice and calmly helps the heart rate to lower back to normal and just helps to keep those muscles functioning properly. Do you have any questions about today's lesson, Anna? The main things to remember are that we try and remain seated upright, so it's that imaginary line between your shoulders, your hips and your heels. The aids, we're not too stressed at the moment with complete accuracy. They will come with time, but the purpose of this lesson mainly was to learn how to maintain an upright balanced seat in a walk and a trot. And the aids we can practice at the start of each lesson. So what we'll do next time you come round, we'll do a recap of today's lesson before we move on to something else, so that you can practice those skills that you've learnt today, and we can refine them a bit more as you go. It takes time. It definitely takes time. But you've done really well. The horse has responded beautifully. Not a problem at all. Okay, so when you're ready, we might just bring him into the centre of the arena for you to dismount. Now, before you dismount, I need to just disconnect his side reins. So when you're ready, just practice that halt for me. Shift your weight back. That's it. Good. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove the side reins for you, just so that it's not pulling on his mouth while you get off. So just clip them on there. Good mate. Good boy. Okay. Okay, so now to dismount, just take both feet out of the stirrups. Okay, so if you put the reins in your left hand, that's it. Your other hand on the front of the saddle here. Yep. Okay, just lean forward, swing your right leg over, and then jump off and land on both feet. Good. Well done. Well done. Okay, that concludes today's lesson. Do you have any questions?
When can we do it again?
We might give it at least a couple of hours, maybe. Okay, next time we might practice working on those diagonals. You seem to pick up the trot really well. So next time we'll work on shifting diagonals on cue.
Okay.
Okay? Alrighty, would you like to lead him back for me? Okay, so right hand up here. Now we just need to make sure that our lead's gathered up so it's not on the ground, because we don't want to trip on it. We don't want the horse to trip on it. And what we'll do is we'll take him back up to the tie-up area and we'll unsaddle him. Thank you very much for today.